Okay, so good day mga kakodals. So yung pag-uusapan natin ngayon is persons and family relations under our new civil code. So we are now in Article 15 and 16. So again, just a disclaimer lamang, no? So ang video na ito ay ginawa ko as a way of studying sa subject na ito. I am not yet a lawyer and di rin ako expert sa field na ito. I am just expressing my ideas and how I understood the subject of criminal procedure. So, simulan natin. Article 15, laws relating to family rights and duties or to the status, condition, and legal capacity of persons are binding upon citizens of the Philippines even though living abroad. So, kung titignan natin, Uh, yung status of a person in civil law includes personal qualities and relations more or less permanent in nature and not ordinarily terminable at his own will, such as his being married or not, or his being legitimate or illegitimate. So, Article 15 refers to number one, family rights and duties. Pangalawa is all about our status, no? When we say kanina family rights and duties, it includes parental authority, marital authority, and support. As to status, it's just whether you are single, married, legitimate, or illegitimate condition. Then we have also legal capacity. So, capacity to enter into other relations or contracts is not necessarily governed by the national law or the law of the person concerned. Thus, capacity to acquire, encumber, assign, donate, or sell property depends on the law of the place where the property is situated. Another one is capacity to inherit depends not on the national law of the heir but on the national law of the descendant. And lastly, we have to remember this, capacity to get married depends not on the national law of the parties, but on the law of the place where the marriage was entered into. We call this one as lex loci celebrationes or locus regit actum. This is subject to certain exceptions. So in our case, we have Articles 26, Article 35, number 5. We have 36, 37, and 38 of the Family Code. So let's go now to the nationality rule. Philippine laws with respect to family rights and duties or status, conditions, and legal capacity shall govern Filipinos, regardless of where they are. A Filipino who contracts divorce abroad is invalid as there is no divorce in the Philippines. Unless the foreigner who divorced the Filipino, then it is valid. So in the nationality theory, regardless where a citizen is, the law that applies as to family rights and duties, status, condition, and legal capacity shall be our Philippine law. And by analogy, we refer to the national law of foreigners who come to the country to the same extent. So, another key factor here or key principle here in this Article 15 is the what we call as Renboy Doctrine. So when we say Renboy Doctrine, it says that where the conflict rules of the forum refer to a foreign law and the latter refers it back to the internal law, the law of the forum shall apply. So when we say, for example, the court of the domicile cannot and should not refer the case back to, like for example in California, but such action would leave the issue incapable of determination because the case will then be like a football tossed back and forth between the two states, between Philippines and the USA, and of which the descendant was a resident or a citizen, like for example, he's a citizen of the US. So, and the country of this domicile, but the Philippine court must apply its own law is directed in the conflict of laws rule on the state of the decedent. This is in the case of Aznar versus Garcia. So, again, it's very clear that if the conflict rules of the forum, like for example in the Philippines, refer to a foreign law, is that of the USA, and the USA refers it back to our internal law, then the law of the Philippines shall be applied. So that is what we call as the Rainbow Doctrine. Another concept here is that the transmission theory. If the foreign law refers to a third country, the laws of said country shall govern. So this situation is a variety of the Rainbow Doctrine. For example, if B is a national of Canada, is a resident of the Philippines, who has properties in, like for example, in Netherlands, and he dies, his estate shall be governed by the laws of Canada. But if Canada law states that it shall be the law of the country where property is situated, then the law of the Netherlands shall be applied. So that is transmission theory. So the law should tell first what is the decision when it comes to property, especially if the location. So in that case, in the example that I have given, B, a national of Canada but a resident of the Philippines, and he has a property in Netherlands. So if Canada law will say that it should be the law of where the property is situated shall govern, then it should be the law of the Netherlands that will be followed. Okay. So, for example, a marriage between two Filipinos cannot be dissolved even by a divorce obtained abroad because of Articles 15 and 17 of the new Civil Code. But a divorce obtained abroad by a couple who are both aliens may be recognized in the Philippines, provided it is consistent with their respective national laws. It's the case of Garcia Recio versus Recio. Therefore, before our courts can recognize a foreign decree, the party pleading it must prove the divorce as a fact and demonstrate its conformity to the foreign law allowing it. So there should be judicial recognition. So, example bar question here in the 2023 bar exams. Christopher, a citizen of the United States, married Lila, a Filipino, in Dallas, Texas. Their marriage was later terminated by a divorce decree issued by a U.S. court. At that time, their child Amado was only 18 months old. Lila and Christopher returned to the Philippines and settled in El Nido, Palawan. Christopher allegedly promised to give support to Amado in the amount of 1,000 US dollars per month, but he never did. Subsequently, Christopher also settled in Cebu, where he cohabited with another Filipino woman. When Lila learned of the whereabouts of Christopher, she filed a complaint against him for violation of the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act for his refusal to support Amado. Lila also invoked Article 195 of the Family Code, which provides for those who are obliged to support each other. She argued that notwithstanding their divorce, Christopher is not excused from complying with his obligations to support Amado. Here, the question is Lila correct in invoking Article 195 of the Family Code? Then, explain. So, the suggested answer here is that no, Lila is not correct in invoking Article 195 of the Family Code because Christopher, being an American citizen, pursuant to Article 15 of the new Civil Code, he is governed by his own law, in that case the U.S. law, insofar as his family rights and duties, which includes support. The factual backdrop resembles the case of Del Socorro versus Van Wilson. Therein, it was held that the foreign spouse shall be governed by his national law in respect to the issue of whether he is obliged to give support to his child after the divorce. However, in said case, the Supreme Court ruled that since Mr. Van Wilson failed to plead and prove his national law on his duty to provide support, then the doctrine of processual presumption shall apply, in which case, by default, Philippine law under Article 195 the Family Code will apply. So in this sense, Lila is correct. So remember, foreign law should not be applied when its application would work undeniable injustice to the citizens or residents of the forum. To give justice is the most important function of law. Hence, a law or judgment or contract that is obviously unjust negates the fundamental principles of conflict of laws. Applying the foregoing, even if the laws of the Netherlands neither enforce a parent's obligation to support his child nor penalize the non-compliance herewith, such obligation is still duly enforceable in the Philippines because it would be of great injustice to the child to be denied of financial support when the latter is entitled thereto. So I hope that is clear. Now let's go to Article 16. So Article 16 says that real property as well as personal property is subject to the law of the country where it is stipulated. However, intestate and testamentary successions, both with respect to the order of succession and the degree of successional rights and to the intrinsic validity of testamentary provisions, shall be regulated by the national law of the person whose succession is under consideration, whatever may be the nature of the property, and regardless of the country wherein said property may be found. So, the conflict rules on property, whether real or personal, as a rule is governed by the law of the place where the property is situated. So, the law of the country where the real property is situated shall be the governing law of such real property. Intestate and testamentary succession will be regulated by the law of the deceased and is applicable regardless of the nature of the property. Now, there is an exception to the lex situs rule. One important exception to the lex situs rule occurs in the case of successional rights. Thus, the following matters are governed not by the lex situs rule but by the national law of the deceased. So, it's very clear that we have to observe this one. The national law must be observed with regard to the following: order of succession. Number two, amount of successional rights. So this refers to the amount of property that each heir is legally entitled to inherit from the estate available for distribution. Another one is intrinsic validity of the provisions of the will. Examples are whether a disinheritance has properly been made or not, whether a testamentary disposition can be given effect or not, and the last one is capacity to succeed. Please refer to Article 1039 of the Civil Code. So let's, for example, here an example. In country X, even recognized illegitimate children are not allowed to inherit. A citizen of country X dies in the Philippines with some of his parcels of land located in our country. Under our laws, recognized illegitimate children can inherit. Will Y, a recognized illegitimate child of the deceased, be entitled to inherit? So, the answer here is that no, because under the law of his father's country, he has no right to inherit. This is so even if the lands are found in the Philippines. What should control is the national law of the deceased. Here's a case here between Misiano versus Brimo. The facts are an alien testator, he's a Turk, meaning he's from Turkey, who made his will in the Philippines, stated in the will that his property should be distributed in accordance with the Philippine law and not that of his nation. Now the issue is the provision valid? So the Supreme Court decides that no, for Turkish law should govern the disposition of his property. We have to note of the exception under Article 16, number 2. Number 1, the Renboa Doctrine, and the number 2 is transmission theory. If the foreign law refers to a third country, the laws of the said country should be governed. This situation is a variety of the Rainbow Doctrine. If B, a national of Canada, is a resident of the Philippines who has properties in Switzerland dies, his estate shall be governed by the laws of Canada. But if the Canada law states that it shall be the law of the country where property is situated, then law of the third country shall be applied. So, general rule, you have to remember the general rule. The law of the country where the real property is situated shall be the governing law of such real property. And take note of the exception. In cases of succession, it is the national law of the person whose succession is under consideration. And take note, intestate and testamentary successions will be regulated by the law of the deceased and is applicable regardless of the nature of the property. So, I hope that you have learned something from Article 15 and 16 of the new Civil Code. And mga kokodals, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow on my Facebook page. If gusto niyo magpa-shoutout sa school niyo at sa mga ka-core group niyo o kaklase niyo, just leave a message and I will read it next time. I will do a shoutout sa lahat ng mga schools, low schools, mga core groups niyo so that you will be also motivated. So, yun lang po. Maraming salamat and God bless po sa inyo lahat.